Oh my god, there is no acceptable food here. Absolutely none. No, you can't have any of this. No. No, we're not eating. Just leave it. Wait until later. We can eat later. It's fine. None of this food. I mean, look at that. That is just awful. Look what these people are eating. Can you believe that people put this stuff in their bodies? Absolutely not. No, we're not doing this. No. Oh no. Oh, there's no healthy food here. What a shame. I guess today's a cheat day then. You just gotta go for it. I mean, what choice do we have? Like, while we're here, you can make up for it tomorrow. Make up for it tomorrow. It's not a problem. We can be good, like, tomorrow. But there is no healthy food here, right? So we may as well just like, go for it. I mean, not that I'm happy about it. Not that I'm happy about it at all. But, no acceptable options. Yeah, today's a cheat day. What to eat when you don't know what to eat. That might seem like a weird concept, but for a lot of people who struggle with certain experiences around food, it's actually pretty common. My name's Marcus Kane, I'm a full-time nutrition coach and I specialize in binge eating, stress management and recovery. And today I'm going to unpack this question for you and give you like a 5-step formula for making difficult choices around food when you might not quite know what to eat, or if you feel like you're stuck somewhere without any good options. I came up with this formula while stuck in the emergency room last week. I'm totally fine. Like, the reason why I was in the emergency room was because there are some ongoing ramifications of the years that I spent struggling with disordered eating and some quite severe conditions surrounding that stuff, which I won't actually name the conditions, because if I do, YouTube will hear that I'm using certain words and limit the reach of this video. But it was bad. My relationship with food used to be extremely destructive, like cycles of intense restriction followed by periods of total loss of control. Body image issues were also a really big deal for me, as well as a very obsessive and compulsive relationship with exercise that had gone to a really dark place. And I did myself some very real damage during those years while I was treating myself in that way, particularly to my esophagus and the surrounding areas, and some of the things that I still experience to this day. Like, obviously I'm in a much better place now, I'm very healthy now, but I did some damage, and that kind of comes up in the form of sometimes really intense reflux, sometimes shortness of breath, and chest pain. And of course, when you say shortness of breath and chest pain to a doctor who's not totally familiar with your symptoms or your history or whatever, they do the responsible thing and send you to the emergency room, which is what the new doctor that I saw last week did. Like, I went to the doctor talking about some stuff. I was talking about shortness of breath and chest pain. He checked my blood pressure and checked my heart rate and everything, and actually found a heart murmur, which is news to me. I didn't know that I had a heart murmur, but apparently I do. It's not a big deal in most cases, but it's something that needs to be checked out. So the combination of all these different things made this doctor go, I would like you to go to the emergency room, please. I was in the emergency room waiting for long enough for the absolutely wasted, drunk, obnoxious person who came in an hour after me to sober up, quieten down, check into rehab, get clean, check out of rehab, start a non-profit organization, and win a Nobel Prize. That's how long I was there. And I didn't want to leave to go and get food because I didn't want to miss my name being called out. So I was there with nothing but like a vending machine. So my options were to either just not eat all day or to eat out of a vending machine. And for some people, that's not a big deal. I totally get that for some people that's not a big deal, and that's totally fine, and I'm stoked for that. For anyone who's struggled with food and body image or any of this stuff, situations like this can be really difficult. Even situations like being at a party where you don't feel like there are food options that you want to participate in, or at a restaurant that you maybe don't feel that great about. Choices with food can get complicated. And although that stuff is like way in my past, I'm done with it, I'm good, I'm in a great place, that doesn't mean that these thoughts don't rattle around in my head from time to time. So how did I approach this choice, knowing that it was a situation that actually triggered a few echoes of all my old experiences kind of coming up and going, oh my God, like nothing but vending machine food for 10 hours? Like, what do we do? I noticed that my first thought was just don't eat anything. Like that was the first idea that came to my mind. Just not eat anything. There's no acceptable food here. Don't do it. Don't eat anything. Wait till you get home. The second thought that appeared pretty quickly after that one was, screw it. Just use it as an excuse to eat whatever you want today. Like we might be here a while. You're bored. We have no choice. Oh goodness, I guess that means we've got to sit here eating chocolate all day. What a shame. And it's really important to recognize that those two thoughts are both disordered. They are opposite ends of the spectrum, and they appear as a very binary kind of black and white situation that has no middle. We either don't eat anything at all if no acceptable options are available, or we just go, screw it, I'm going to make a day of it. But something that for me is like a daily practice these days is saying a hard no to anything that is essentially an ED behavior. I'm not going to entertain a thought or engage in a behavior that is categorically disordered. But the presence of these thoughts doesn't actually mean anything, right? The fact that we have a thought, it's not a reflection on progress or you as a person or anything like that if you are in fact struggling with food. These thoughts appear. It's how we respond to them that matters. So then it became time to think, okay, now what do I actually choose? And from there, like a little bit of anxiety kind of appeared around, okay, I don't want to engage in any kind of like ED behaviors, but then at the same time, I really don't like the look of any of this stuff. At that moment, it became really important to connect with the fact that no single food choice has the power to change our lives. That is, unless you like choke on it or something. And again, as long as there's no medical stuff involved here, singular food choices can get complicated for people with severe allergies or things like diabetes. But those things aside, when we're talking about just general health and well-being and food choices that aren't gonna mess you up on like a medical level, no one food choice is going to change the game all that much. As someone who's recovered from a bunch of really rough conditions involving food and body image, this was an important thing for me to remember. Our outcomes with health and wellness and even our body are the result of all the choices we make over long periods of time. There's not one thing that we can do, not one choice that we can make in a day that's gonna mess us up. And then step 3, managing any potential overthinking it was an issue. So I gave myself a 30-second window to make a choice. No space for overthinking. Because at the end of the day, all the choices available weren't that different. Like, no choice was going to be particularly special or beneficial. They were all kind of the same. They wouldn't have been things that I would have chosen to spend a day living on, but at the same time, they're just neither here nor there. So there was no point in overthinking it. But the experience of overthinking and obsessing over choices with food is very real for a lot of us. So this is something that I found helpful. Setting a 30-second limit, recognizing no single food choice is going to change my life all that much. Step 4 was about bringing a little bit of mindfulness to the decision, factoring in things like, how do I think I'm going to feel 30 minutes after making any particular food choices? Is there anything here with these options that are available to me that might lead to me feeling slightly better in the next 30 minutes after having it than maybe some of the other choices? Factoring in how we're going to feel in 30 minutes time. Physically, if there's room to choose something that's going to make us feel slightly better than one of the other options, why not entertain the idea? As long as you're not choosing something that you hate, right? So keep that in mind. And then finally, like the 5th step here was to make a promise with myself, have an agreement with myself, whatever it was, that I wasn't going to overanalyze the choice after I made it, that I wasn't going to ruminate on it. I made the choice, it's done, it's over, move on. If you want to take a screenshot of this process just to have on your phone to keep in case of emergencies, now's the opportunity to do it. And of course, remember that there are elements of emotional regulation through this process. Situations like this can challenge us if we've had certain experiences or dealt with certain things regarding food, and navigating these moments can be uncomfortable. If you would like some guidance, leaving things like binge eating and anxiety surrounding food in the past, dealing with that, helping people navigate that space, it's my full-time job. If you want to chat to me about it, just follow the link in the episode description and book a call. But give this formula a shot, and if you found this helpful, please subscribe.